conversations on how to address some of these issues and how to prepare our children for the real world. Now, the world that we don't even know, because we keep hearing about the future. The future is here. It's a global space. So how are we preparing the children, and what do we need to do differently? So I just want to welcome each and every one of us. I hope that by the time we leave here today, we will be more inspired than we walked in here. Also, we will have some questions and answers, and also leave with some perspectives to chew on, because it's an ongoing conversation and we are all a part of this conversation. So once again, thank you for coming, and please just be patient. The moderator will be in soon, and then we can have the panelists, up there. So please just enjoy, relax. It's an evening to listen, to learn, and to laugh. So welcome as we get this started. Thank you. Just before I yield the mic to her, I will just want us to welcome her. So Mrs. Show, as she is fondly called, is passionate about supporting schools and parents, providing schools with strategic PR, marketing, administration, and recruitment support, marketing, administrative, and recruitment support to enhance sustainability, growth, and delivery of international quality education service provision. Her training portfolio is extensive and highly sought after, featuring a rich variation of personal and professional development topics for school owners, leaders, parents, and educators, which underscores her commitment to lifelong learning. But Ms. Cho is she's a passionate parent, she's a mom, and then she's an educator. She is everything about school and family, helping families align their goals and their vision, connecting them to a school that aligns with their vision. So she is the founder and CEO of School Medics Consulting, as well as the popular School Symposium. So I'm sure we would have been hearing about School Symposium. So this is the brain behind School Symposium. Let's make welcome Mrs. Victoria Vani Shodende. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I appreciate you. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, parents. Good evening, panelists. I apologize. Nigeria happened to me. Hence, I was in Gwarimpa, can you imagine? And anyway, I'm so delighted to be here today. I have been eagerly looking forward to this event, so I'm really happy, and we welcome you. We appreciate you giving of your time to engage with the school on your child's education, your child's growth and development. So I will now take the time to introduce the panelists, if I may. I will start with ladies first. So if I may, Mrs. Oluwatoyin Yusuf. Welcome, ma'am. Mrs. Oluwatoyin Yusuf is the co-founder of Let the Child Be Initiative, a non-profit organization dedicated to fostering holistic development of children and teenagers, empowering parents with the knowledge and resources to navigate the complexities of parenting and adolescence effectively. With a background in agronomy, a BTech, and a postgraduate in education, she brings academic depth and hands-on understanding to the work. In addition to formal training, she has completed various certifications. She is passionate about helping young people reach their full potential and is committed to building a future where every child is heard, supported, and empowered to just be. And Let the Child Be, they amplify the voice of the child. Welcome, ma'am, and thank you so much for being here. Next, we have Mrs. Tessica, a legal practitioner, dedicated legal professional and child justice advocate. As a principal research fellow at the National Judicial Institute, she facilitates judicial training and supports initiatives that strengthen child protection policies. Passionate about mentorship, she leads youth development efforts and serves in the child and youth ministry in her local assembly. A mother of 4, she's committed to raising and empowering the next generation. Welcome, ma'am, and it is a legal honor to have you here, if there's anything like that. All right. Next up, we have one of Granny Murray's own. Actually, 2 of them, but let me start with Mr. Valentine. Mr. Valentine Chukwuemeka is a mechanical engineering graduate with 15 years teaching experience. He holds a postgraduate diploma in education, is a registered member of TRCN, and he equally holds a teacher's records certificate in teaching English as a foreign language and has completed several courses in education management, 21st century teaching and learning, communication management, and project management. He currently serves as the academic coordinator of Granny Murray Schools. Welcome, sir. Drum rolls, please. You have to give me drum rolls, if not, I stop here. All right, so we have the very renowned national treasure by the name of Mr. Dike Chukwumerije. Sorry, you didn't hear me. Should I repeat it? Okay. Maybe you didn't hear me the first time. Mr. Dike Chukwumerije is a renowned spoken word and performance poet, author, cultural advocate whose work has significantly influenced Nigeria's literary and artistic landscapes. He's influenced by his father, Uche Chukwumerije, a former Nigerian senator and publisher of the Pan-Africanist magazine Afriscope. Dike developed a profound appreciation for literature and storytelling from an early age. His passion for poetry was further nurtured by his elder brother, Che Chukwumerije, a poet, musician, and childhood friend, Onesi Dominic. Dike has authored 8 books, including the acclaimed Urichindere, which won the 2013 Association of Nigerian Authors Prize for Prose Fiction. He's committed to bringing poetry to mainstream audiences, led him to establish Simply Poetry Limited, a performance poetry theater company that translates poetry into multimedia and theatrical formats. As a central figure in Nigeria's performance poetry scene, Dike is a member of Abuja's Literary Society and hosts the group's Jam and Poetry Slam events. It's too long. We'll be here today. His performances often address themes of national identity, unity, social consciousness, such as this. His poem, The Wall and the Bridge, presented at TEDx Maitama, received widespread acclaim for its powerful message on national rebirth. The former Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, recited Dike's poem, The Revolution Has No Tribe, during a speech highlighting the poet's influence on national discourse. Recognized for his contributions to literature and performance art, Dike Chukwumerije was one of the top 100 most influential Africans by New African magazine in 2016. Through his work, he continues to inspire conversations around culture, identity, and social change in Nigeria and beyond. Welcome, sir. Please give him a round of applause. We are in the presence of greatness. Be sure to get his autograph on your way out. I will. And last but not least, the father of the house, at whose behest we all sit here today, our very own Mr. B. Papa Mori, or is it Grandpa Mori? And Mr. Adevi Oke, along with other experienced co-founders, is the founder and publisher of EduTimes Africa. He has previously founded Education Radio, eRadio, a web-based and school campus-based radio service dedicated to 21st century educational content. He's an edupreneur, socialpreneur, techpreneur, and a projectpreneur with a strong passion and unending appetite for entrepreneurship. He has helped many startups become established businesses across the education and technology landscapes. He has over 15 years of experience in the education space, having co-founded Granny Murray Resources, Granny Murray Schools, Granny Murray Foundation, and most recently, Education Times Africa. He's also a co-convener and host of the Collaboration for Success webinar series, a talk program aimed at collaborating, cooperating, and coordinating with global industry stakeholders to support and improve development in the education sector across Nigeria and Africa. He's the COO and Programs Director at Silicon-Based Advisory Group and has helped Silicon-Based Advisory Group achieve organizational growth across technology implementation and management consultancy. In the past, as a project manager north of Nigeria at Resource 3 PLC, Mr. B was responsible for the delivery of several project portfolios. He has played key roles with teams in the development of company strategies and objectives, especially as project assistant to the Chief Technical Officer at the Nigerian Mobile Communications Limited, MTEL, and other ICT-based organizations. He was recently awarded as one of the 50 most valuable personalities in the digital economy space in Nigeria. Welcome, sir. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And please take your seat. Thank you so much for your opinion. The beautiful thing about events like this is that it gives us a platform to share our truth. There's no singular parenting model that will work for every single child at every single stage. So it's great to be able to hear your difference of opinions and your reasons for it. Our hope here, the purpose of the event, is to foster deeper collaboration amongst families, educators, and the broader school community in shaping a safer and more nurturing environment for the children and the adolescents in our care. So we're drawing on powerful scenes from the mini-series Adolescence to sort of have a mirror of modern society. So this session, we are hoping, will strengthen our communication, homeschool, communication channels, align our values and approaches in raising emotionally intelligent, socially responsible youth, to encourage proactive engagement from you, parents, as well as educators, in building a safer school ecosystem and generating suggestions for school policy updates or community initiatives based on real life experiences. So I'll chip in. My truth is, I really hesitated to watch this with my children. I hesitated because my second son is 16 plus, he'll be 17 in October. My little one is an absolute no-no, she's 10. But I hesitated about sharing this for some of the reasons that some parents here have. In the end, however, he said, "Oh, that child is a really good actor. So how did you know that?" And that exactly is part of the point why we're here. Because even when we think we're protecting them, are we deceiving ourselves a little bit? And he said he's a smart one. He said, "Well, I only saw the ad." Right. So I watched a bit of it with him. Now back to the first scene in the movie. The very first scene in the movie, I believe we shared that already. That got a visceral reaction from me. I was watching with my husband and I was like, "What? They cannot do that. If it was in America, they cannot get away with that. Child protection and blah, blah, blah." He was like, "Madam, calm down." Calm down. But I'm sure as parents, as educators watching the first scenes in the show, would have gotten a reaction from you. And it was meant to do exactly that. So my first question is this, and I will target the first question to, let's see. I'll target the first question for the panelists to get their reaction, right? So in this whole arrest, taking him over to the authorities and putting him in the ambulance and all of that, we have this shocking clash. As a very young child, Jamie, 13, and his family are confronted with very severe charges of murder. He's in his pajamas, he's in bed, and he even wets himself. He has a toilet accident on himself. And you see this really young, innocent child who your heart goes out to, and a family in total distress. Of course, they must be wrong. He's then taken into custody with his parents, or without his parents, emphasis on without his parents, and transported, booked, and imprisoned. My question to Mrs. Yusuf and to our very own renowned poet, national icon, Mr. DK, Chukwumiri J. My question to you both is this, and I'll let ladies go first, is what are some of the mistakes we make as parents whose children are becoming young adults, tweens or teens? What are some of the mistakes we make in trying to prepare them for exposure and engagement with the very gruesome nature of an adult world? If they were suddenly to find themselves confronted without access to a trusted parent or guardian, what are some of the mistakes that we make in preparing them for a day when we're not standing by their side, able to come to their aid? Your thoughts?
Good evening, everyone. I just want to be true to the question. We shield them from the hard truth. We think we are protecting them, but actually you are keeping them from the hard truth, because they will face the world by themselves. You are there to guide, and give or take, you might not be around them when they are facing it. And so what do? Open up a little bit. Start opening them up to the hard truth. Like now, I have a child that will be 18 this year, and I'm scared of him driving because of what we know the police do to young boys now. So I'm trying to shield him from driving in Nigeria. So anytime he's around, I'll be like, don't drive, don't go anywhere, don't do this. I would like to monitor his movements. But my husband was like, okay, I pity the two of you, because one day you will have to drive. What will happen? And so the truth is this: we shield them from the hard truth, and you keep them indoor, not knowing they will still mix with the outdoor. So start preparing them for the outdoor. Another thing we do as parents, we do too much. We practically do everything for them. And so they can't live without us. That's because we have made our life their life. And this would definitely affect them when they face the hard truth. Imagine I was still talking to a friend about this. You've raised the child from high school to, from middle school to high school. Now he's going to university. All this child's life, you've been picking and dropping off from school. Suddenly you are introducing this child to a life of getting bused by yourself, going to class by yourself, taking lectures by yourself, not in an AC if that child does not go to a private university. Even in a private university, ask them, they trek. It's like long suffering. And you've prepared them for soft life. You do too much. As parents, we do too much. And so they're not ready for some hard truth. When the world comes slapping, I'm telling you, our children now, they are not ready, because we've raised them with so much love. It's good. But in my days, I was raised with hard love. I remember when my mom took me to Lautech, she just dropped me down. So you can find your way, because all my life I've been taking bus to school. All my life, I've been writing notes. Teachers will just come, write notes on the board. Bloom, 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 bloom. If you like, copy. If you like, don't copy. So I have been prepared for the hard truth. But now we have so pampered our children, they are not prepared. Then we avoid real conversation. When it comes to real conversation, Mom, I have a boy. Did I hear boy? What? At what? Please open up. Give that openness for that child to be able to walk to you and say, oh, mommy, I have an issue. My son is going to be 18. We talk about everything. There was a day I was like, the way you are going, the height you are, girls will be rushing and be like, Mom, I can't do it. You've taught me that. And I'll be like, who taught you what? I've not taught you anything. So don't get carried away. But I've opened that space. In case he likes a girl, he can always come to me. But most of us, can our children really come to us to talk about things? Can our children really talk to us if they are going through things? I always use my son because he's the closest to adult whatever I have in my home. I have a 14-year-old, but my son is, for now, he's the main actor in my scene now, because I'm about to ship him off. Like I always tell you, I'm shipping you off soon, so off you go. And so I'm so ready for him to face the world, because in me, I know I have done something for him now, except for that part of driving in Nigeria. I'm still struggling with that. So let's create an avenue for openness, that the child can come to you to talk to you. Another thing we do too much as parents is that when it comes to us sharing our experiences, we don't share. I can tell my children all I've been through in university days. Why? It's not because I just like storytelling. It's for the child to be able to relate with me. So that when such happens, in his memory of discussion, he'll be able to pick out that thing. Mommy shared this, and I can use it now. Share experiences. Some of us, we went through a lot in our dating life. Share. I chop breakfast. Share. Because when your children is about to take that step, they say, mommy chop breakfast. Let me not take this step. This was the kind of person she was describing. No. And that will help. So sharing experience goes a long way. I hope my little tips will help.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Mr. DK?
For me, I think the job of a parent is to make yourself redundant. I think that's what parenting is, to make yourself irrelevant in somebody's life in the long run. So I have 4, and from the get-go, I just talk to them normally. I don't really try and shield them from anything because it's counterproductive. So I just talk them through things. So this series, we watched it, talked them through it. Every child is different. Some children have such vivid imaginations that there are some children that by themselves, they will get up and run out of the room because they just can't watch it. So you have children like that, and so you shield them, and other children would, and you just talk them through. And for me, it all begins from, your home. Get your children to sweep, wash plates, wash their clothes, take responsibility for their environment. It all begins there. Learn that the world does not revolve around them. You can't have everybody running around to give you food, to give you, take care of you. Very early, learn to contribute to your community. Learn that you are just an actor. You're not the center of the universe. And these are very important foundations to begin to lay in a child's psyche to get them ready for the world. So I don't shield my children. I remember a cousin of mine came once, and she said that, I talk to my children, I say, I don't even use baby language. All this, when people are born and then you talk to them in baby language. I just talk to them normally. And if they don't understand a word, I explain what the word is. And we talk about concepts and things like that. So I don't think children should be shielded. I think they should be prepared for the world. For those of us that are raising our children in Nigeria, Nigeria is a rugged place. Why are we trying to raise Ajebota children? The culture shock is going to be so harsh. They need to know, when you're driving along the road, you need to be pointing out, look at that, as your age mate carrying granola on her head, as your age mate holding a younger one and walking to school. You need to be telling them, let them be seeing these things as they're happening. My daughter is about to go to SS2 now. And I've told her from next term, it's Keke na Pepo. So, because you have to be programming these lessons as they are learning maths, English, whatever in school. At home, you have to be teaching them how to cook, how to take transportation. They can't teach them those things in school. So you have to teach them. So I've told her, look, from next term, we're going to be taking Keke to school. You enter, we'll go, we'll come back, just so that you get used to it. At some point, they start taking Bolt, Uber. You go with them. They learn about safety. These are the warning signs. Because like she rightly said, I grew up in Lagos. From Form 1, I was taking Mulue to school. from JS1. Obviously, those were different times. It was not as dangerous as now. But from JS1, I was taking Mulwe to school and back. And now and when we say, oh, we're raising, it's us. So every time I come to this parents' gathering, they say, oh, we're raising our Jabota children. But why won't we do something about it? Why don't we change our parenting style? Because it's fear. We're afraid that something will happen to our children. But if you think back to the 70s, the 80s, when our parents were raising us, military rule, coups were happening left and right. I remember when our last born in our family, they were born on the day Buhari staged the school. And my dad would be telling me how he was driving through military checkpoints because my mother was bleeding heavily and he had to find. So the times were as dangerous, as uncertain, as unstable as it is today. But they had the courage to raise us to be strong. And now we're raising children that, because we have a little, it's not even as if we are millionaires or billionaires. We're raising our children that, so we need to stop it. I tell myself, now look, these boys and girls are going to compete with children that went to school in LEA school. And I want them to compete because I'm also the child of an upper middle class parent. But I competed. I went to public school. I slept in the dormitory. I hustled like everybody else because my parents made sure that even though you have money at home, but we're going to raise you as if you don't have money. In fact, they tricked us. I remember the day my father came back and told me that an Indian man had swabbed him. They always say that Nigerians do 419, but I think some of these people they're on another level. So he told me that this Indian guy had swabbed him of 1 million. Honestly, I couldn't sleep. I thought that, my goodness, we are broke. That's the end of our lives. I was doing fasting and praying for the recovery of that money. Meanwhile, the guy had money, but he raised me as if he didn't have money. And I'm so grateful for it now because of the mentality that it gives one. There is nothing like coming from an upper middle class background and yet having the mentality, the mental toughness of somebody that was raised as a low-income child. It's such an advantage in life. So I don't shield. I don't believe in shielding. We'll watch it. We'll talk about it. And any issues they have, we'll talk through it.
Thank you so much, sir, for that brilliant. I don't know. It's as if they have it out for me, these panelists. They're just making me feel uncomfortable here, making me reflect on my own parenting. I don't know about you, but I feel kind of guilty here. I feel uncomfortably guilty because I think I certainly shelter my children a bit more than I should. And I definitely get them involved in household chores. My son can cook. They do dishes and all that. But when I watched this scene, I had to pause and ask my son, if you ever find yourself without, say we're traveling and you get lost, or you have to travel alone, or you are apprehended, how do you respond? Because Jamie in these scenes, he was a basket case, really. He was torn from the shelter of his home, and this is a child that was roaming the streets of London. Our children don't even roam the streets. Most of us, our children cannot even leave the compound, much less the estate, if we're being absolutely honest, right? And yet, this child who roams around London, the minute he was in police custody, he was wetting himself, he was a basket case, he couldn't speak properly, he couldn't understand what they were saying. And it occurred to me, oh my goodness, if my 16-year-old found himself in police custody or immigration custody, how would he respond? Does he know how to deal with authorities? Meaning, does he know not to talk too much? Does he know to remain calm? Does he know to immediately make sure that he gets across to us and only us before he divulges anything that can be used against him? So some very thought-provoking things. I had to have that conversation with my son. But one of the things that really interested me about Adolescence, beyond the way Jamie reacted to the confrontation, was his father's reaction. So the father vehemently, I saw that scene as I was walking in, that you were watching the police interrogation. I don't know if you got to the point where the father is responding to the revelation. Did we get to that point? Not yet? Okay. But we got to the point where the father was vehemently defending his son, right? Okay, so let me give you some expo. Let me give you an anticipation guide. So the father vehemently defends his son, but he's visibly stunned, repulsed, yet heartbroken and moved to tearful empathy when confronted with CCTV footage of his son's actions. I know, I believed he was innocent until the end. Spoiler alert. So, as a parent, what is the appropriate yet practical and productive response that you should have? As a responsible parent, what kind of reaction should you have when your child gets into serious trouble? Yes, my question is directed to Mr. Okay and Mrs. Echiazu. Now, I'm sure that Mr. Valentine and the teachers and leaders here will be having difficulty with this, because many times your child cheated on an exam, your child disrespected a teacher, your child bullied another child, and they call you as a parent, and what do you do? What do you mean by that? My child? I know my child. He will never do that. He will never say that. I can't vote for my child. That is often our reaction. We think our children can do no wrong. They are innocent. They are infallible. They are incapable of doing anything outside the character mold that we have built for them. So Mrs. Ichiazu, and Mr. Okay, your thoughts, please. Permit me to start with ladies first. I'm in the mood.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Okay, so yes, I remember watching that scene, and I remember when he recoiled back, I imagined what it would be like to be Jamie, because it's like we're only loving our children when they are good. That's kind of what it felt like. It felt like you're bad. I can't even stand the sight of you. I really, really felt that. And yes, we look at our children and we think they are perfect, they can do no wrong, because maybe in our minds, that's the only way we can love them. That whole unconditional love thing is it's a difficult concept to accept. So we only love our children and we accept them when they do right things, which is why when they make mistakes, we're shouting, they broke the cup, We don't really seem to understand that mistakes are a natural part of life. And so as a parent looking at the scene, I don't think I would react that way, because I would imagine how my child is feeling afraid, and I'll probably make excuses as to, even if she did it, she probably has an excuse, or like what. I'm not going to just generally think, no, my child can't do that. My daughter has shocked me too many times for me to think she can do no wrong. Yes. So for me, that response at that moment, they need your love, and your love is regardless of what they have done. As their parents, you are the one that is giving them that emotional support. You have to learn how to detach yourself from that situation. So it's the same way how maybe as a lawyer you would defend a criminal. You can't be looking at that crime at that point like that, like it's a bad thing. Because the truth is, each and every one of us here can do really, really bad things given different circumstances. So we need to realize that we are not perfect. So we need to take away that perfectionism from it and really see our children for who it is they are. And it made me realize truly, like even before he saw the CCTV, he kept saying, no, Jamie didn't do that. No, Jamie. They said, oh, don't watch the CCTV yet. Like the lawyer was like, let's not do it right now. And he's like, no, let's do it, because he felt in his heart that his son can't do that. So for me, you really need to realize they are human beings. They're human. They have their own person that is different from you. Your child has a personality that doesn't have anything to do with you. They are their own people. They are accountable for their actions. But yes, you are molding them, but realize that they are their own person and give room for, God forbid, yes, God forbid it happens, but it could happen and there might be a reason. So yes, that's my way.
Some parents are bold enough to have that face-to-face discussion with their children. Let me see your phone. Let me see your computer and all of that. Let me see what you're doing. Some would insist, I'm going to be your follower on your Instagram, on your Snapchat and all of that. Why? Because they want to see what is happening. Some may not take that route. Some may be subtle in the sense that when the children least expect, they slide or they get hold of their phones and try to see what they are up to. But whatever route we take, one of the things we must ensure is that accountability. Because like Ms. Yusuf said, we're not going to be with them all through life. If they don't learn accountability at this stage, it's still going to come up later when they've left us. So, responsible use of social media is the first, and the second one is accountability. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Valentine. I enjoyed that adage about the monkey in the stomach and the monkey at the back. I'm going to use it for my kids. They would like that one. But thank you about the point on accountability as well. I think when they are able to imbibe accountability, they become responsible for setting their own, standards of accountability. So really important point. Mrs. Yusuf?
All right. So one thing I did before handing out any device was give them serious teachings about internet, the phone, and social media. We don't prepare them for trolling. It happens. Internet is where everybody does not have filter. You can just look at somebody, you look like a pig, ha, ha, ha. And that goes a long way in the brain of a 13, 14-year-old that has not been sat down, prepared for that moment. So if you are ready to let your 12-year-old have a phone and go on social media, please sit them down and talk to them about kindness. Talk to them about empathy. Talk to them about trolling. Talk to them about toxic people. Talk to them that people behind that phone, some people are actually mentally derailed. They just look at that. They use that phone to get at people. Some people are cowards. They just use that moment to speak out. If you don't say that, that's when you see some children, they'll just go. I've seen so many, they'll say, you better hang yourself, fine. Say as you walk. That can live in a 13-year-old and it can come to reality. That 13-year-old can actually go into the room, hang themselves. And when you find out, they'll say, because somebody said you should go and hang yourself. So let's be careful. Give them that thorough teaching before you hand over a phone. That's one of the things I do. I sit myself, mister, I know you are growing beards, but growing beards is not as easy as handling social media. Because when they come for you, you will shake. Even adults, when they come for adults, you will second guess yourself. So you need to teach them. Another thing we have to do is set role models. We tell our children, don't stay on the phone. You will see parents, immediately they are coming, even once they park the car, TikTok. 5 minutes they are still in the car, daddy will come inside. 10 minutes, daddy is still going from one TikTok page to another. Then that mommy will now come inside down. Healthy role model. If you role model that healthy lifestyle on social media, bet you your children will learn faster. They learn faster by what they see. But if you spend every day on Facebook and even inside the house, before you just do things, did you see what they wrote on Facebook? You are missing. The child will be like, oh, okay, you are living on Facebook. I can live on Facebook too. Then set clear boundaries. This I do. I tell them, clear boundary, not blanket ban. We do that a lot as African parents. Don't use that phone. Why? You misbehaved, so drop that phone. That's a punishment. You should, if you are disciplining me, discipline me well. Let me understand and learn from it, not punish me outrightly. We are punished. And punishment is more of pouring your anger on that child. It's not teaching any lesson. So set clear boundaries. Don't use phone while eating. Table time, dinner time, no phones, including yourself. I do this a lot. When we are eating as a family, no phones. If my husband phone, because my husband, I think she has witnessed him. We came here once and he was on his phone always because he's an engineer, so he's always having calls. So anytime his phones ring and we are eating, I'll be like, and we're like, I'm not picking it. You better don't pick it because that's the rule. Set clear boundaries. By 7 p.m., all devices are off. Not that I don't want to see any device on. Why? By 7 p.m., set clean, that they will understand, even if you are not at home. I was not at home for a while, and I remembered my daughter saying, oh, by 9 p.m., I'll be using the landline, mommy. You can't reach me on this phone, because that is the clear rule. But most of us, we don't set clear boundaries. Africans, we don't usually set clear boundaries. We just dish out instructions. We don't wait for feedback. So as parents, 1 is teach well. 2, role model what you're saying or you're teaching. 3, set clear boundaries. 4, you see that parental control is not your way of life. Don't be going every minute to be checking their, hey, who did she chat with you? What's happening? No. You should not, parental control should not override conversations. It should not be the button to control that child, if you understand. Parental control is just a guide. So when you're using it, use wisely. Don't use it as a monitoring spirit. Don't use it as your CCTV. Because then you're teaching that child not to trust you. Because once you go there and you see, who is I saw www. What's that one? What are you doing? And the child wonders, how did you get that? And you think I'm watching you where? The child will be like, okay, oh. And you know what? You've taught that child how to be more cunning. Because the child will now go and find out how to clear my catch or whatever and clear it. And before you get there, the thing is wiped. So you're teaching that child 2 steps to be wiser than my mom or dad. So let's be mindful. Parental control is just for you to guide. So use it appropriately, mostly for the younger ones. Not to go to any sites you don't want them to go to, pop-ups, I have a child that gets easily distracted. So I use parental control for her. So before she clicks on anything, I get the notification. I'll be like, hey, madam, don't do that. I know, mommy. So, I'm just guiding her. And I'm always telling her, there'll be a time I don't have your time again. I have to move to the next child. So please, learn what I'm teaching you now. I'm moving on. And that is what parental control should be. Thank you very much.
Mrs. Yusuf, I don't understand, though. This one, you're just... Because me, I'm not big brother, I'm big sister. Yes. Who is this person? I want to know. It's hard. It's really, really hard. So as you are saying these things, it's just poking me. I'm like, I have this 16-year-old going on 17. Of course I have to. That's why I have his Snapchat and TikTok on my phone, because I need to. I don't do it all the time. It's just every now and then. I just need to let him know, guy. Just big sister is watching you. And if you ask me anything about why am I asking you that, my friend, don't ask me that nonsense. It's not easy, but it's good to keep hearing these reinforcements. So Mr. Adike has to run. He has to run, but I had one more question for you, sir. We haven't gotten to that part, and we're going to, as soon as I give you a chance to speak briefly on this, we'll go back and watch the video for those who haven't, so you get a clearer sense. But having watched, I know, right? Yes, that's a good idea, actually. Okay, so if you have any questions for Mr. DK, why don't we take those questions before he goes? As he's going, you can also get his autograph and a selfie. So any questions for Mr. DK, please, very quickly. He has just 5 minutes, actually less than 5 minutes, but.
Thank you, panelists, for your great conversations. They're really thought-provoking, and we're learning, but sometimes it's hard. Yeah. So I would like to know, please, how do we, it's directed at Mr. DK and maybe very active mom here. Please, how do you balance setting your child free, like not having, not keeping your child in a box, and the current realities? Yes, we know that in the past there were security issues, but they're not as bad as we see. Or maybe we know more now about these issues. Letting a 15-year-old child transport him or herself to school, I wouldn't be able to even think for the 8 hours the child. I have to call the school and say, please, did that child get to school? You know, even in after 5 minutes of setting the child free. So how do we balance this? Because I'm kind of from the shielded culture, while my husband is not. And he's like, I want this child to start going to school on her own. And she's 14. So please, how do we balance this? Because it's really not easy. I know when they have to go to uni and the rest, it now becomes difficult for us because we've overshielded them. But the current realities are really scary. And I don't know, how do we just balance this? Yes.
We'll take that one because he has to run.
I would say, like my daughter, when she starts next term, I'm not going to send her out by herself. I'll go with her. We'll enter the keke together. So that's what we'll start by doing. So there'll be a responsible adult going with her and bringing her back. It's just for her to learn how to take public transport. I'm not going to just kick her out of the house and say, go and find keke for yourself. It's not even fair. She's never done it. So somebody has to hold her hand, and we'll start from there. So if you give me your husband's number, maybe I'll talk with him.
Well, allow Mrs. Yusuf to respond as well.
All right. I go with what he said. You first of all, the first week, you have to go with the child. What you're doing is, while you're going with the child, you point out landmarks. You point out that my mom was a geography teacher, so I had to learn geography in the real way. So you point out landmarks that, all right, as we are going, what are you seeing? Can you see GTB on your left? All right, so whenever the keke is moving, always look out for GTB on your left. In case you miss your way, always remember that there's a GTB. When you are coming back, will it be on your left? My son is tired of me because I ask every question. Will it be on your left when you are coming back? You say, of course not. It will be on, hey, it will be on there. That shows that you are brilliant. It will be there. So, in case you miss your way, there's a landmark. If you go and ask somebody, excuse me, I'm going to GTB. You know that from that GTB, you can find your way home. Do you know your number? I don't know my number. Do you know your mommy's number? Because you find it will be a shocker to you that a 17-year-old does not know his parents' number. So, do you know my number? In case you are lost, just borrow somebody's phone and say, please, my mommy, I'm lost, I'm here. Give me landmark. They know that landmark is very important to me as a parent. Give me landmark of where you are. So, as you are working or doing anything, teach them how to do landmark. Then if you are the Gen Z parents, you can go and buy this tracker. What's that thing that they put in their shoes now? And you'll be tracking. If your mind will not rest, just put it in their shoe or bag and send them away. You will always track them. But always look out for landmarks. Nowadays, you can get a keke man that would always come in the morning, pick them, that you are family. But I don't subscribe to that, because when you get too comfortable, they might decide to misbehave. So just teach them street. You have to be streetwise. So.
Thank you for that. I just wanted to touch on the keke thing they just talked about now. You know, I have friends that own Okada. So if you're a carpenter that has worked for me or a bricklayer that has worked for me and you have a bike, you are ordinarily my friend. And I have friends that have G-Wagon and have Range Rovers. So I try to do this such that my children can see the society from different lenses and not from just one perspective. So a case in point, because I just want to use the Keke story that they're using now to touch on an experience that I had with my daughter. So we have a family group that we share information in. So where you are, what you are doing, and all of that, we share it in that group. There was a time my daughter was invited to the National Youth Games that happened in Asaba, Delta State. And I checked how much I'll be using to take her from her hotel. Every one of her mates, and this is part of the shielding that we're talking about, but you see, I had to do that shielding, okay? Everyone else of our teammates, that couldn't afford staying in an hotel, they stayed in the hostels that government provided. But because I went with her, we stayed in an hotel, and we were moving from the hotel to the stadium every day. And because I had to walk away from town, so I needed to stay on the internet, I need to do all of that. So each time I drop her at the stadium, I need to go back to the hotel and continue walking. Then later I go back to pick her up. By the time I did the first day, I spent like almost 20K. And we're going to spend like about 10, 15 days there. So I now checked it that, which account will I write all of this, Because the cab that would take us there is no ordinary cab in the hotel where we're staying. If I had known too, I wouldn't have stayed in that hotel. It's because of the hotel we stayed in the first place, So the higher the cost of the hotel, the higher the cost of transporting. And I checked it. Just next street, you will see kekes that were quite a number of them there. The car that was taking us to the stadium will cost us an average of 8 to 10K. So 8 to 10K back again. So if I have to go 4 times, that means I'll be spending 40K. Keke, how much will you take us to the stadium? I'll get 800 naira. Back, no problem. In fact, I now had a chartered Keke. So it does not take any passenger along the way. It is us. But what am I trying to bring out of this? It was our first time of getting on Keke. Even for me, her father, it was about the second or third time I'll be riding on Keke. So we were getting on Keke every day. So the first day, and it's just to be part of the lessons that she can get as well, I snapped the picture and sent on the group. And my son saw it. This didn't happen, no. But it's the reality. And that was how we, lived our life for like the 10, 15 days that we were there. So what I'm just trying to say with what you're saying is that every day, every week, somehow there are ways that they can actually pick something. In terms of exercising, walking around the neighborhood and all of that, if you do that and you can do that with them, it's part of them learning some of these things. Because whether we like it or not, we need to be kind to their future. And the reality is going to stare us in our faces. And we're going to have to deal with all of the issues, that they will face in the future. So it's better for them to see many of these things now than for them to arrive at a future that they'll be shocked. Okay, so my own 2 cents is that every opportunity that you have now, okay, just try to see how you can give them the right exposure that will help them in the future. Thank you.
All right, so Mr. Dikie Chukwumerije, we want to be respectful of your time. You've been very patient, sir. Thank you so much. Please give him a round of applause. Thank you so much, sir. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you, sir. It's not a strategy. It calls to mind, though, I have to say. There's this story that has been going around for many years. I don't know if it's true, but you probably have heard it. So before Anini is put before a firing squad, he curses his mother. Have you heard that story? Yes? That just makes me a bit reluctant to, act in the way that you said. But maybe I need to hear this. It just makes me a bit reluctant. Like, you did something wrong. Yes, right now I love you, but you have been bad. It's difficult to show love when your child has been bad and not have it feel like you're giving them a pass. Right? Mr. B, your thoughts?
Thank you very much, and good evening, everyone. Um, I will take it from where you stopped, and I think really looking at things from the perspective of law or as a lawyer, first of all, you need to stand for whatever crime the person may have committed. So if a lawyer can deal with a stranger who's already committed a crime, so how much more the child that came out of you as a parent? So we need to stand by them. One of Granny Morris' philosophy, like I have seen over time, is certain slogan that came out, I think, a couple of years ago or last year, in terms of us being kind to their future. Okay? We need to be kind to their future. And being kind to their future means that we do not necessarily have to pamper them. Okay? Yes, they are there to be pampered. They need to be shown love and all of that. But summarizing with what Mr. DK has said, and what Ms. Yusuf has also said, in terms of the fact that you have to actually show them the hard things, tell them the hard truth, let them see life, the way they should see life, not screening things away from them necessarily. Yes, there are things that you need to keep away from them because their age can handle limited things, He was saying about looking at the regulation of the movie in terms of what age category. And you see, regardless of the age, culture differs as well. The UK culture is different from Nigeria culture. So you cannot say that because it's rated, even parental guidance, okay, that you will show everything or they will see everything. There are times you need to actually be sure of what they see. So back to what the question is. It's a tough one for me because at times when I mix with other parents and they talk about their children, that their children are hard, they are tough, I cannot leave that child alone. No. He will cause problem before I come back. I can't do this. And I look at my own children. I don't know how to. If you leave my son here, if you go to Lagos and come back, you will meet him there. Yes, my daughter a little bit, she can be adventurous. But I think that, it's not just from me alone. The way my wife and I have actually brought them up is such that they've seen so much around us, and which comes to the exposure, which is necessary. They have all manner of friends. We don't say that this friend you keep away or that friend you keep away. They themselves know what kind of friends to keep naturally. So when people say that their children get into trouble, I wonder when will these children get into trouble? Because I've not seen them get into trouble. You know them. I get to my son's school when he was in high school, and they are always talking about how well behaved he is. In my mind, I said, this boy just caused trouble once now. He's 16, 17. And children that are younger than him are exploring and doing exploits, one way or the other, that their parents are having headache. And, but here you are with this boy, and it's just school, book, and he's so well behaved. I remember when I used to flog this boy as a little child. And sincerely speaking, I came to regret it. Because I now know that, no. Because that was where I was brought up. My mom had canes everywhere around the house. The curtains we used to have then are those curtains that they have these boards. Okay? They have these boards around. So the curtains are under. So on top, you can keep anything there. You can hide a billionaire, So what she keeps there, what my dad keeps there are fluorescent lights so that it gives illumination to the room. But my mom, what she keeps there, different kind of canes. She calls them pankere. She has like 2 or 3 in the living room. She has 2 in her bedroom. On the corridor, she has so anywhere I cause problem, she can easily reach for one and just, deal with me. Instant justice. So, but, with my own children, I didn't have to experience that with them. I don't know, maybe it's because of the kind of exposure or because I've walked from Yaba to Anthony. I don't know if you know Lagos very well. Just because I missed the driver, I was playing football when the driver came to pick everyone else, and I had no choice. I didn't have money, and I had to walk home, you know. And by the time I got home, it was business as usual. Shebi, you've heard it. Tomorrow you'll be there when the driver comes. So the truth is that there is a limit to how much we can actually, reprimand these children. We would need to show them love, and they need to know that we are there for them. Yes, of course, at times they will cause some trouble that they will feel like, wow, how will my parents, actually, handle this? But it's always good for us to surprise them. I will just use that word, for us to surprise them and say, look, okay, it's okay. I mean, you can make mistakes, but let's train them through them. Everything that happens, be it good or bad, I believe is a lesson. And as they grow up, they will they will know better, they will learn better, and they become better adults as they grow up. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for that. One thing that caught my attention that I think I'm going to keep and still and use with your permission is be kind to their future, right? Not just the child before you, but the future that you are investing in. Be kind to their future. We'll pause for a second, and then we'll go back and continue watching the series. But before we do, I think one part that we have watched that came to light during the course of the interrogation was the use of social media. So, Jamie and his friends' posts on Instagram, as well as their whereabouts after school, were the first telltale signs of trouble during his interrogation, and later as part of the police investigation. Are there credible arguments for children younger than 18 years to have access to social media? What do you think, parents? Do you think that your children, who are obviously younger than 18 for the most part, should have limited access to social media? If you agree that they should have access to social media, please put your hand up. And if you think that they should not have any social media at all, meaning they should only use Nokia 3310 with no Snapchat, no TikTok, no Instagram, no WhatsApp, please. So if you are a yay for social media, please put your hand up. Okay? So that means that right now your child has access to social media. There might be conditions to it, but yes. Right? So 3. Okay. And if you think that they should be using Nokia CC 100, okay, so no access to Instagram, Snapchat, WhatsApp. If you are in that camp, please proudly put with your full chest, put your hands up. Okay. You're indifferent. You think there's a balance? No. Mr. DK said, no. Okay, so I will, by what age? 21. Okay. So let me switch that question around a little bit. Right? One house. I know it's a bone of contention, but we'll work our way to the answer. So, my question is for Mr. Valentine and Mrs. Yusuf. Please pay attention because she's a veteran parent with a child that is 18-year-old. So please take notes. And as we read earlier, Mr. Valentine is a veteran educator. So please take notes from them. So Mrs. Yusuf and Mr. Valentine, given the push for education technology integration and digital citizenship for the future of work, right? That's the new push. So that's been the recent trend among schools all over the world. Nigeria is not exempt, and I'm sure that Granny Murray is not exempt either. So given this push for education technology integration, what are some practical ways for parents to manage their children's use of technology devices? Because to be honest, yes, full confession, I'm kind of in the Nokia, not 9 knots, what do they call it? I'm kind of in the Nokia camp, right? My son is 16, but I really don't like, whenever I see him Snapchatting, I'm grumbling to myself, but he has to Snapchat on my phone. I'm not comfortable with him having full access yet. Okay, he can do it on his tablet. But my point is, many times the reason why parents actually give their children devices and internet access is because the school says so. Right? They need it. That's what my son, oh, I need it for studying. Oh, I need it for studying. I need to do my homework. And I'm like, you don't use textbooks again. You're studying on your tablet, and I can see a tab open for TikTok, my friend. So given this push, right, what are some practical ways for parents to manage their children's use of technology devices? This time I'll reverse course and ask Mr. Valentine to start because he hasn't spoken yet. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Please, can I crave your indulgence to go back to the very first the one Grandpa and Mr. Chazo spoke on, please, because it's actually very important, and I think we need to address that. You know, we are talking about saying the hard truth or having the tough conversations, and I think this is one of it. So in that movie, for those of us that have seen it, you would see where when the dad was confronted with the reality of what the son had done, he vehemently denied that the son could not have done that. And one of the things that really caught my attention when I saw that movie was the fact that the dad actually asked him in private. I don't know how many of us that saw that part, that have seen it. The dad asked him in private, tell me the truth. He said, I didn't do it. And it was based on that. Even when the opportunity came for them to have, stepped back a little, the dad was vehement. But so I would want to say this because it's happened to me personally. One of my younger brothers had a situation, had a case. And it was a case that could actually lead him to prison. And I had to stand in for him as a senior brother. And I had to ask him, tell me the truth, what actually transpired. And he told me what at that time I thought was the truth. And on the strength of that, I was willing to stake my life for him. But one funny thing was that throughout all that process, my wife would look at me and say, your brother is not telling you the truth. And you could now imagine the shame, the humiliation, and the pain I felt inside when at the end of it all, it turned out that he didn't actually tell me the truth. So I think that as parents, we should be careful. This is not demonizing our children, no. But it's accepting the reality that things can go south. My parents had a saying growing up, and my mom particularly would always say that. In fact, it's when I became an adult, I actually understood what she was saying. She would say that the monkey said it can only vouch for the child in its belly. As for the one on the back, it's possible that passing through the forest, it has reached out and plucked out while the mother was not looking. So I think on that score, as parents, sometimes when certain things happen, let's sit back. It's not as if doing that we are throwing the child to the dogs. No, but we are actually, trying as well to. It's also a form of protecting the child, because in that scenario that played out, if actually they had taken time and made more investigation, the father, it's possible that would come up. So that's that about that. So to come to the use of technology, we can already see how divided it is. And I think this is one point parents would always be divided. But here are some few things we can do as parents. The first, I think, is to teach our children the responsible use of these devices. We cannot deny the fact that these things are the future, or these things is the future. I had an experience. The first time I actually handled a system was in my polytechnic days. And then they made it such a way that if you're not a computer student, you are not permitted. Now, this is what happened. I was using it, and this lecturer came in and asked all of us who were not computer students to leave. I never knew that there was a procedure to shutting down the system. I just immediately turned off the power button. And he had justification for what he was saying. I would never forget that embarrassment. So what I'm saying is we should teach them the responsible use of these devices. Then the second thing in the use of these things is accountability. That is one thing that is lacking in our world now. Accountability. Even as adults, there are certain persons we should be accountable to. I'm going to use an example. I had an elder sister growing up. She's late now. But growing up, I was accountable to, I was accountable to her. Our relationship was so close that I remember the very first time I had this idea of getting a girlfriend. She was the person I shared it with. And she said, no, it's not yet time for this. Face your studies. And I took that to heart. So in the use of these things, the first is the responsible use of it. And the second one is accountability.
So to keep it live, the parents have to be kept abreast of it, like Mr. Valentine said, sharing those documents, and sometimes not in the whole part because it's a lot of reading. Schools have several policies, sometimes 50s, almost 100 policies, right? But scheduling them and sending them out to parents, and then parents taking the responsibility for actually reading those policies, keeping themselves aware of what the school stance is, and that it's made in such a way that children have access to it. Whether it's through assemblies, whether it's through display boards, whether it's through whatever format the school wants to use. So keeping policies alive is really critical to fostering a positive school culture. A key part of this, of course, is parental engagement. So I want to take a few seconds just to acknowledge the dads that are here. If you're a dad, can you please stand up? Please do, sir. Please. Would like to especially, I'm sorry, as amongst the panelists as well, of course. If you're dads and you're here, please take a look at yourselves and know that you have taken a special effort to be kind to your child's future today. Gone are the days where dads are absentee fathers. These fathers prove that they are hands-on. They have stamped their palm prints in the sand of their children's future. And we encourage you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much, sirs, for your engagement today. Okay, please take your seats. Moms, your reward is not only in heaven. Give yourself a high five. Stand up, moms, and give yourself a high five. I'm a mom too. Don't want a GMS mom. Please give them a round of applause. Please give them a round of applause. Most moms are tirelessly engaged in the school, their children's education, and there's no amount of thank you that would represent it. But today you could have gone shopping. Today you could have gone about your work. Today you could have gone about cooking and doing even important things that relate to your children. But you chose to sacrifice everything because you considered this important. And our prayer is that you see the rewards of your sacrifice of time and attention by being here today. So we appreciate your engagement, and we want to take this opportunity before we leave to take some of the questions. We don't have a lot of time. We have to be respectful of your time. We know you're all very busy people, but this lovely GMS staff, I didn't catch your name, darling, forgive me, but the one with the beautiful accent and the beautiful presentation, please give her a round of applause as well. She has some questions and contributions. I'll hand over to her.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mum. So I'm going to read the first question, and is, why was Jamie lying, and how do you guide your child not to hold information from you? That's from a parent.
Oh, wow. Okay, so why was Jamie lying? Because obviously he was afraid. He knew he had done something wrong, and he didn't want to get punished for it. So he was running away from the consequences of his crime. And how do you get your child not to withhold information from you? So, lying is a natural part of every human endeavor. As a matter of fact, when your child starts to lie to you, it's a good thing, because that means that child is developing. It's normal for them to lie. Now, how you're going to get your child to stop lying is to make yourself a safe space. They have to know that when they tell you the truth, well, there are consequences, right? But you're not going to reject them outrightly. So there are ways in which you would met out these consequences. So it depends on what your child is lying about. So they start to lie about maybe around the age of 3, 4. I think my daughter started lying, maybe the first lie she told me was around 4. And I don't think I've ever gotten over that lie, because she convinced me she didn't do it until, like some weeks later is when the truth came out. Anyway, so around that time, she didn't lie. Yes, she twisted the truth. True. Maybe it wasn't her. It wasn't really her that did it. Anyway, so when they start to tell you lies, it's just their way of, it's kind of, maybe they know your reaction, how you're going to respond to it, because they know what they're doing is not right. So they're trying to get away from it. And how you respond to their mistakes is ultimately what will make them realize whether they can tell you the truth or not. So if you're the person that when they do something wrong, how could you do that? They are going to keep lying to you. They will continue, even as an adult, think about it. Think about it. If you can get away with telling a lie, even if you call it white lie or whatever, you know you will. So if they know that when they tell you the truth, your reaction is going to be like that, they will start to find ways to bend it. So you have to be open. It's about having a connection. You have to be that parent that, yes, it's a safe space, allows them to express themselves. You people can have a conversation about it. Maybe you won't even reprimand them there, because discipline is not an emergency. You actually don't have to talk about it there and then. Or better still, like storytelling is another nice way. You can now tell them a story of you too, when you were small and you stole meat from the pot. It's like, mommy, you do that too. So you have to humanize it and basically let them know that I can take it. If they know that you can take it, they will tell you the truth. But it's something you build over time. So I'm not saying we should condone our children's bad behavior, but you need to balance it and just really look at it. And yes, don't be emotional about things. It's not when they tell you, even if you're boiling inside, just calm down, because they are looking at you to see your reaction. How is mommy going to react to this? How is daddy going to react to this? And if you react in a very calm manner and you talk to them and they're like, okay, they will now start opening up more and more and more about things. So basically, have I answered that question? Okay.
Mrs. Ichazu, will you be my mommy? She's so soft-spoken and so kind. I'm like, this woman is so nice. My children will be looking somewhere. Next question, please.
All right, the next question is this. There was actually a quote that came in from a panelist, I guess. And then it says, punishment is exerting your anger. And a parent asks, what happens when dialogue fails? What do you do? Dialogue. Yeah. What do you do? Your anger. But what happens? You try to use dialogue, What happens when dialogue doesn't work?
Jam question for Mrs. Yusuf.
All right. So, Mr. Okia said that. No, Mr. Val says that different strategies for different children. Not all children listen. Not all children will dialogue work with. I have a child that if you speak to her, she cries and she's not doing that thing again. Whereas I have another child, if you speak, you are speaking, you are just speaking. When you finish speaking, you will do the right thing. Because she will still go back and do that thing. So what will I do? Will I use the strategy I'm using for A for B? No. I have to re-strategize. So I need to know what works for B. So if dialogue does not work for your child, sit down and study. There must be something that works. Punishment does not usually work. Let's tell ourselves the truth. Africans, we run to punishment as our first resort, but it is not always. It should be the last thing. Exactly. It should be. The first thing should be dialogue. If it's not working, what is really happening? Let me sit down and study you. Why are you misbehaving? It might be me. It might be my tone. It might be my body language. You think these children don't study us? They do. The moment you sit up to, they will just change their mind about what they want to tell you. And the way she sat, it can be slap coming next. Let me change my, So when dialogue does not, that dialogue, how are you dialoguing it? Is it dialoguing? Some of us think we are dialoguing, but we are actually backing out instructions. Sit down there. I don't like you talking to that person. And you are talking to yourself alone. You are not including the child. So the child just looks at you and says, And when you are done, you say, I've been speaking to this child for over 6 months. He's still doing the same thing. Yes, because you are backing out instructions. You are not allowing that child to tell you what to do. Dialogue is, I bring my part, you bring your part. Then we meet in the middle. So when you say, why are you behaving like that? Mommy, they did this to me. So you think doing that will get you a result. You have put that child in a place of critical thinking. We don't allow our children to critically think. Then, when you get to that stage, you say, okay, so what will we do? Problem solving. We don't allow them. We solve problems on their behalf. Next time that child just bow, you just bow. You have solved the problem for the child. So when the child comes to school and bow, you now come and say, hey, it's me that say that. You did not ask why that child reacted to your child like that. So, dialogue sometimes, you think you are dialoguing, but you are not. You are actually talking to yourself all through. Most of us have been there, whereby our parents will sit us down and be talking, you have been this and be that, and you know that what they are saying is just going, and going, and you are just sitting there and say, finish your talk, let me stand up. But you cannot say it out. And so that you now expect, your parents will be talking to their friend and say, I've been conversing, this child is just stubborn. The child is not stubborn. It is you that you are not reflecting on how you are approaching that child. How would you like somebody approaching that, Miss Show, you are so dumb, you are so stupid, you are so foolish. Do you think anything I say to Miss Show will pass through her ears again? She'll be like, okay, you've concluded, fine, I'm shutting down. But when you come to your child and say, I heard this, but I didn't believe it. Am I supposed to believe it? Well, the child will be like, what did you hear, mommy? I heard this. Oh, is it that one? Hey, you're bringing out talk. You're bringing out conversation. The child is not ready to talk. But the moment you just heard from school, you've not even sat you're a very foolish woman, you know. Your teacher just called me now that you are senseless. When we get to that child has shut down. Nothing you say, you're on your own. Mommy and daddy, you're on your own. You know what they say, selective hearing. They do that. They do selective listening. They want to hear what they want to hear because you have attacked. We should not attack them. So dialogue always works. It is what you do with your dialogue that matters. How you present it. If you want to go and settle a conflict, you don't go there and say, I should not talk again. All right, so if you're going to settle a conflict, you don't go to two warring town and say you are a mad town. You people are mad people, and you go there and say you people are crazy people. Do you think they will listen to you? No, you go there and sweet talk them. You people are so caring. Oh, you people are so beautiful. I love your culture. I love the way. That is how you approach a child. You don't approach a child with boxing and say, I want hear. Yeah, they say that you are misbehaving in class. The child go backward. Okay. The child will just look at you and say, okay, no problem. Mommy, did you do it? Yes. Is that all you have to say? Sorry, ma. Then you say dialogue is no, because your approach is wrong. I pray God help us.
Amen. So you mean I should not warn my son anymore that I'm from Edo? He should not try me. Not because I'm civilized here. Okay. So I won't do that anymore. Honestly, what Mr. B said applies. Prayer goes a long way in keeping calm, in knowing which of these instruments we've discussed to apply to which child, when do you need to. I pray that we all take the opportunity to approach it prayerfully as well. Mr. Valentine?
I want to quickly add something. I think storytelling would also work. Storytelling. Ms. Yusuf mentioned critical thinking, right? Storytelling can actually get them to think critically. A perfect example is, for those of us who are very familiar with the Bible, David did something. He did something. He actually did it. And God told Nathan to go and confront him with what he did. What did Nathan do? Nathan came to him and told him a beautiful story that illustrated what he did. It was David who himself pronounced the punishment and said, the man who did this should do what? Should die. And then he looked at him and said, you are the man. And that ended the case. So I think storytelling would also help.
That's a great point. All right, so we are we're well beyond time. I know we have some contributions. Another question. Any contributions? Okay, so we'll take the one question and one question only, and then we'll take the two contributions. All right.
Okay, so a parent asked, what's that? Oh, 2 minutes. Okay. Contributions 2 minutes, please. All right, so a parent asked briefly that how would you settle a sibling rivalry for those that have 2-3 children, and how do you settle a sibling rivalry?
Okay, coincidentally, I just attended a sibling rivalry summit for like a week and so I think my greatest takeaway from that session, to summarize, was that basically sibling rivalry is normal, it's natural. And usually the first child, she comes along, she's the only one, and life is good. Second baby comes, all your attention moves there. So there's from her behind, and everything she does is awesome. Whereas it's not really like that. But anyway, and then you too, your position in the family is also playing a part. Because I'm the last child, so I can see how a first child can be a bully. So maybe my first child is presenting as the bully, and I'm always trying to stand up for the people who I feel are being treaded upon, you know. So all of that comes into play. But basically, you need to know all your children have different personalities. Try and schedule special time with each one of them, because they are telling you they basically want to spend time with you. Any child that really when they start to act like that, it's usually that they feel all the attention is going. And then actively listen to them. Maybe tonight you can go home and ask your children, do you think I favor any one of them above more than you? And you'll be surprised at some of the responses that you will get. Because that's when I realized that my first felt that the second was the one. And whereas the second also feels the first is the one. And the last should be the one that they should be looking at, because, I mean, she's the baby. But interestingly enough, they didn't have a problem with her. It was the two of them that felt, you know, so ask them that question. And when you ask them, please listen and don't try to start saying, no, but I don't treat her better. No, just listen. And take in what they're saying, and just try and see it from their perspective, that maybe you do favor one more than the other. So that's one thing you could do. And also teamwork. Stop trying to pit your children against each other, because we do that thing where we're comparing them to one another. You wash plates. Didn't this other one wash plates? Why won't you wash plates? Oh, she came first in this. Why won't you? We say it in the most. We just say it sometimes. Oh, like we will say, oh, Sachi, you're always crying. You're the crier. And then we label them. True. Another thing we do, we give our kids labels, and then the other ones will start to. So all of that is pitting them against each other. So you need to come up with ways to make them connect together, help them to play games, problem solving, like was said, instead of always trying to jump in and be the champion and say, no, you did wrong. Please, you are like you're not, are you a referee? You're just, like Switzerland. You don't have nobody, you're not in nobody's camp. Try not to take sides when they are fighting. Listen to everybody individually and find out. Just try not to take sides. Don't take anybody's side. Listen, and then maybe get them to try and come up with solutions to the various problems that they are having. And more importantly, read up on the subject, because it's going to be around for a very, very long time. One of the people that gave the lectures, she said she hated her sister growing up, and it's just now when she's like 30-something that her sister and her are like the best of friends. So there are some things that you possibly cannot, you can't win the war all the time. But there are ways, all these small snippets are things you can start to look at yourself. First of all, really, really look inside and make sure that you are trying to be as fair as possible. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So that's from the mother's perspective. So from a father's perspective now, for me, I leave them. They will fight. They will come back. They will fight and they will come back. Just two of them. So what's the big deal? The only rivalry that I am scared of is wife's rivalry. And that's why there's only one wife. Thank you.
I'll add to that. One thing that I found really helped with my children is we just decided we're really tired of this. So for the next 1 week or until you stop fighting, both of you eat from the same plate. It was shocking. It worked. It worked. Because they had to spend time physically together. And so they ended up making jokes and laughing. And before I knew it, they were holding hands. Before I knew it, they were bonding. But always, stay out, stay neutral, be like Switzerland. I leave them, you guys, you started it, you will solve it. But if it starts to get out of hand, give them a bonding opportunity where they don't have a choice but to actually get to look into each other's eyes and bond with each other. Yeah? All right, contributions.
2 or 1. Okay, 1 minute each. Okay, contributions, just 1 minute each, please, because of time. So I specifically remember you said that you had a contribution.
Okay, thank you once again. Thank you, panelists, for all the information shared. So I have 2 contributions, 1 minute, right? I've taken a few seconds, I guess. So my first contribution is from the shielding aspect. Everyone have said a lot, which is true. Whether we like it or not, sexual and gender-based violence is in the increase. Take it or leave it. It happens under our nose. I know most of us here are aware of what SGBV is all about. So shielding them from the structure, physical world, the society they ended up going, let's say university or boarding school, is something else. But another thing we hardly talk about is this sexual and gender-based violence. We have to protect them by talking to them, by engaging them. And we have to say it the way it is raw. If we are speaking to them, let vagina be vagina. Let penis be penis. Let breast be breast, please. My second contribution is concerning the movie. Thank you so much for sharing this movie. I've watched a clip. I've not watched it, but I'll take my time to watch it fully. But take it or leave it. There's something we call trauma somatization. What does that mean? Simply is, I don't know how to explain it. Trauma that we stored within us. trauma that we store within us. Whether we like it or not, for us to have a word trauma conflict, we must have a word trauma resolution. If you don't resolve it, it will show physically. Most of our physical health challenges we experience now as adults or as mothers, they come from trauma. Good example, breast cancer is on the spread, is on the increase. Guess what is one of the causes? Trauma. And yes, sadness. That sadness is attached to stress. We have two types of stress. I can't recall the first one, but oxidative stress triggers it. But the initial one is trauma. 80% of breast cancer causes are caused from trauma that we stored, let's say when we're 6 years old, I don't know, depending on what age, we must have experienced whatsoever that trauma that comes your way that is traumatizing you. So take it or leave it. Just like the way I said, 85% of cancer cases, most especially breast cancer, health issues generally that reflect, that manifest later is because of trauma issues that are not yet to be resolved. And a good example, as I said, is breast cancer. And that breast cancer is being attached to relationship. These children, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, the boyfriend broke my heart at the age of 13. You store it. And fortunately, unfortunately, sorry to say, we women, we hardly break the men's heart, right? Sorry to ask, good question. So it's the men that always break our heart. For me, fortunately, I had one person, so far so good, that broke my heart before I met my husband. So maybe, yes, that hurt me. I can remember I cried a whole day. I wet the pillow. But that was after my NYFC. So far so good. That time I don't struggle small. So imagine I've been having heartbreak from 13 years. At 18, I had one. At 15, all those things, putting them together, it causes breast cancer. Take it or leave it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Hello. So you said you had the contribution. I remember. So you have just 1 minute, sir.
Wow. So I think I'm going to start from begging us if we can finish, because time, I'm sure everybody will want to leave very soon. That's number one. Number two, I want to appreciate our esteemed panelists and Madam Sho, right? Thank you so much. I want to start from, the movie is based on a UK culture. And I've been almost jumped by a teenager on the streets of UK. That's their average life. We have learned a lot of lessons from this that we have seen. However, there are certain values that come with our culture, which every of our panelists, they have struck on. I start with Mr. DK. DK comes from, or rather he is from a family that at least kind of well-to-do and all that. And his father did something that majority of us were not doing. And what is it? What is mine? They made it clear that it is mine. You need to work for your own. We have said it here. We protect them. In the protecting them, we're still saying things against it. So we sincerely, because one size of cap doesn't fit all. We need to work at what works for you. Let's not jettison the way we were raised. Majority of us, we were spanked and we turned out better. I did not tell my parents that there was a basketball. Listen, I did not tell my parents that there was a basketball. No, not even basketball. A school sports in Iwo in Osun State. I stay in Osogbo. Sorry, I stay in Ikire. I left without their consent. I went for the competition. I came back. I should have gotten home, and this is time there was no phones. All right? So I got home around 8, 30. My father was, getting ready for network news, So I entered, I went in. To cut the long story short, I was beaten well. I never did it again. That's number one. Somebody mentioned tough love and correction. We have been demonizing punishment. We have been demonizing punishment. When we need to met it out, let us met it out. It doesn't necessarily have to be caning. Madam mentioned it. I didn't even know that you were from my alma mater too. She mentioned it. If it had to be talking, some children, you rather talk to them than beat them. All right? So I want us to leave here with something. Number one, no one cap size fits all. Number two, I think Grandpa said it, and I think maybe Madam was also mentioning about us being intentional about the future. There's a way you coined it. Be kind to the see. Most of us, let's be true to ourselves, we want to live our lives through our children. Let them live their lives. Let me just rest my case here. Thank you.
Wow, 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 wow. Thank you so much, sir and madam, for the contributions. You should have been here because you gave such wonderful contributions. Can we please give a round of applause to the amazing panelists? Truly honored to be in the midst of such wonderful, well-learned and experienced individuals. It's truly been an honor. Thank you, Granny Murray, for having me. I personally love Granny Murray. I don't know about you. This is a school that does things differently, and I'm always so impressed. So thank you so much for the honor. We will respect your time. We're not going to go a minute further. Thank you. We'll draw the event to an end. Any final words from the directors before we part ways? Mrs. Josephine? Thank you. Mama Maury. You're welcome.
Let me just. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, our dear parents and our distinguished panelists and amazing moderator here. I didn't, of course, she's a member of the Collaboration for Success. It's not the first time. So we were virtual together during COVID. So, and I knew that, she will do justice to this entire evening. So we just want to thank you. We are truly grateful for your participation, for your insights, and for sharing your time with us, your expertise. Honestly, it's been an amazing evening. It's been a vibrant exchange of ideas, and I believe that we're all living here with different perspectives, something to chew on and reflect on in order to nurture a well-rounded and value-driven young next generation. So thank you once again. God bless you all. We can't thank you enough, but we just want to say thank you. Thank you so much, Mrs. Shu. God bless you. Okay, so I think I'll just yield the mic to the PTA because we're transitioning to our own conversation.
I hope we can spare like 10 or 15 minutes. Can we do that? 10, 15 minutes, then we're out of here. No, not 5 minutes. So please, before our panelists leave, I'm sure we're going to still continue this conversation. If the school gives us an opportunity, we'll continue. However, there's one of the parents here, Mrs. Miriam, saying we don't have to shy away from what is happening. All right, and the cyberspace is getting toxic. So can I just give you 1 minute so that you can just share with us? Then we'll take it from there.
Okay, thank you so much for having me here. What I'm about to say, like he said, is very timely. You know, we've been talking about kids going on social media. At what age should they have a phone and all of that? So my name is Miriam Alobi, and I am a parent. I co-manage an NGO called Alice Alobi Foundation. We are into empowering youths in digital literacy, digital safety. So in April, we organized a cyber security awareness workshop for girls. That was in April to commemorate the International Girls in ICT Day. And we worked with the NPF National Cybercrime Center with some certified cyber security experts as well. So we did that program and we worked with 14 schools. And it was a very, enlightening and informative program. So we are doing another one, not only for girls, but for both boys and girls, for the youths. And we are focusing on private schools. So we want to start with GMS because, of course, my girls are here. And I like GMS, so we want to start with GMS. So we're organizing a cyber security awareness workshop for kids between 11 to 16 years. We'll also want to organize something also for the parents, so that they can know and get the knowledge and get some tips on cyber safety and how to guide their children when they're online and all of that. So I consulted with the school management and they said, okay, that's fine. I can, share this information with the parents. So we are open to the dates that is convenient for the school. So we were talking about maybe organizing it after Salah, after the midterm break. We can do that because this time around we are going to be inviting not just the police cybercrime center. We are also inviting someone from the EFCC, the Interpol, and other certified cybersecurity experts. So it's going to be very informative. The police, the EFCC, the Interpol, they'll share real life experiences with us, coupled with what the certified experts will tell us, So I'm going to share the flyer on the PTF platform, and then maybe more details will follow. So I just said, let me share this information, which is definitely what we need for ourselves and our children. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll quickly just run through a few things, then I'm sure we'll be on our way. Do we have any feedbacks from the parents? We're going to have a session, just like 4 or 5 minutes. If there's any feedback, I'm sure there's some feedbacks that some of us have been tracking and would love to share and get some clarity on. However, before that, for those of us that were in attendance, are we together, please? We're together the last meeting we had. We agreed to some fees, PTF fees. How many of us remember? Okay, so, and I think that amount was 5,000 per child, right? Okay, so what this fee is for us to be able to fund activities like this. We have so many resources within and we have so many resources without that we can bring in our attempt to grow a total child. And I want you, I know you will agree with me that no amount is wasted in this venture. Are we in agreement? So please, I want to encourage, we've been able to open the GMS PTF account. If you're clapping, clap well now.